Hello everybody. Today I'll be going over my speak to actuate. Um, in my audience I have my mom, my dad, and my niece. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started. My speech is over the consequences of transgender athletes, um, and how they affect um, multiple things in the athletic realm. So our first is the effect on youth. Let me Uh, One potential impact of transgender youth athletes is the disruption of gender-based sports. Allowing transgender youth athletes to participate according to their gender identity could lead to a situation where cisgender athletes are competing against those who were assigned a different gender at birth. This could lead to issues of fairness and could potentially result in cisgender athletes being pushed out of the top ranks of their sports, reducing their opportunities to excel and harming their self-esteem and sense of achievement. There are several reasons why the participation of transgender youth athletes in sports should not be allowed. These include concerns about fairness, the impact on scholarship opportunities, mental health and physical health of cisgender youth athletes, the impact on female sports, and the potential risk to the health of transgender youth athletes themselves. While it is important to promote inclusivity and diversity in sports, it is also important to consider the potential negative consequences carefully and ensure that any policies and guidelines are balanced and fair to all athletes. All my information on youth transgender athletes was at AmericanProgress.org. Next one is the unfair advantage. One of the main concerns raised by opponents of transgender participation in sports is the potential for an unfair advantage. This is particularly true in sports where physical strength and endurance are important factors. While regulations and guidelines such as those established by the IOC attempt to address this issue, there are still concerns that biological differences between the male and female bodies, such as a muscle mass, bone density, and lung capacity, could give transgender athletes an unfair advantage over cisgender athletes. Another concern is the impact on female sports. Some opponents argue that allowing transgender women to compete in female sports could lead to the marginalization of cisgender female athletes. This is because transgender women may have physical advantages that could affect the competitiveness of female sports. Critics also argue that this could discourage girls and women from participating in sports, which could have a negative impact on their physical and mental health. Um, all my information regarding the unfair advantage between transgender athletes was found at the NPR.org. Kind of goes into my last topic there is the effect on women's sports. So one potential impact of transgender women's sports is the marginalization of cisgender and female athletes. This is because um, transgender women may have physical advantages that could affect the competitiveness of female sports. For example, a transgender woman who is assigned male at birth may have greater muscle mass and lung capacity than a cisgender woman, which could give her an unfair advantage in sports. This could result in cisgender women being pushed out of the top ranks of their sports, reducing their opportunities to excel and potentially harming their self-esteem and sense of achievement. Another potential impact is the loss of scholarship opportunities for cisgender female athletes. This is because colleges and universities may give athletic scholarships to transgender women who were assigned male at birth, based on their physical abilities. If this happens, it could make it more difficult for cisgender women to secure athletic scholarships and pursue their dreams of playing at a collegiate level. This could have a significant impact on their prospects and opportunities. Also, again, all my information on the effect on women's sports, transgender athletes is found at thenpr.org as well. Last one is the downfall of sports. Quickly, safety is another concern that is often raised by opponents of transgender sports. This is particularly true in contacts such as wrestling, boxing, and football, where physical strength and body size are important factors. Critics argue that allowing transgender individuals to compete in sports that do not align with their biological sex could increase the risk of injury for all athletes. Another issue with transgender sports is the impact on sports records and the integrity of competition. Transgender athletes have an advantage over cisgender athletes. It could lead to the distortion of records and results, which could undermine the legitimacy of sports competitions. Moreover, the allowance of transgender sports can affect the inclusivity and diversity of sports. This is because transgender individuals may not be the only group seeking to compete based on identity. Allowing individuals to compete in sports based solely on their gender identity could create opportunities for individuals to take advantage of the system. This could lead to a loss of trust in the fairness of sports and create a situation where athletes are chosen based on identity rather than merit. All my information was found on frontiersyn.org over the downfall of sports. And for the summary, transgender sports should not be allowed due to the several reasons, including concerns about fairness, the impact on female sports, safety, the integrity of competition, and the potential for exploitation. Allowing transgender athletes to compete based on their gender identity could create an unfair advantage, particularly in contact sports and marginalized cisgender athletes. There are also concerns about the impact on sports records and the potential risk to the health of transgender athletes themselves. Similarly, the participation of transgender youth athletes could lead to a loss of scholarship opportunities, negatively affect the mental and physical health of cisgender youth athletes, and disrupt gender-based sports. While inclusivity and diversity are important, it is crucial to carefully consider the potential negative consequences and ensure that any policies and guidelines are balanced and fair to all athletes. Thank you.